Imagine this. The world's biggest pop star drops the title of her brand new album. Not at an award show, not in a late-night interview, but in the most unexpected of places, her boyfriend's football podcast. The internet collapses under the weight of anticipation. Millions rush in to watch live. Landmarks across America light up in her chosen signature color. And then, as if to seal the deal, one of her closest celebrity friends casually declares the album flawless. This isn't just an album rollout. This is Taylor Swift's The Life of a Showgirl era. And what we are witnessing is more than music. It is a carefully orchestrated spectacle of love, art, reinvention, and cultural dominance. So for the next little while, let's break it all down. From Zoë Kravitz's glowing endorsement, to the mystery of why orange suddenly rules the Swiftie universe, to the romantic roots of this story that go all the way back to a friendship bracelet, to the question of why this album feels like the boldest gamble of Taylor's career. Get comfortable, because by the end, you'll understand exactly why this era might be remembered as one of the most pivotal moments in modern pop history. Let's start with the reveal. August 13th, 2025. Swifts already had their suspicions that something major was on the horizon. The orange-themed posts, the countdown clock on her website, the coded hints that only Taylor's fans could dissect with the precision of detectives. But even the most devoted among them couldn't predict the sheer scale of what was about to unfold. In a brand new episode of New Heights, the podcast hosted by NFL superstar Travis Kelce and his brother Jason, Taylor herself made a surprise appearance. She wasn't there just to support her partner. She was there to drop a bombshell. The Life of a Showgirl, her 12th studio album, 12 tracks.
The internet immediately went into meltdown. Within minutes, Taylor's official website crashed as millions tried to pre-order physical copies in every format imaginable: vinyl, CDs, even cassette tapes. The countdown that had been teasing fans for days finally struck zero at exactly 12:12 a.m. Eastern, unveiling the album's name and cover art in a digital eruption. Meanwhile, over on YouTube, the live premiere of that podcast episode smashed records, drawing in more than 1.3 million live viewers and racking up over 10 million views within a single day. The Life of a Showgirl wasn't just announced. It arrived like a cultural earthquake. But then came the part no one could ignore. The orange. Why orange? Taylor has always tied her eras to strong visuals. The bold red lips of her red era, the stormy blacks and metallics of Reputation, the soft pastels of Lover. But orange was something no one saw coming. Fans debated its meaning endlessly online. Eventually, Taylor herself clarified. Orange symbolizes the backstage energy of her era's tour. The adrenaline, the show lights, the drama, the heat. She wanted a color that radiated flamboyance, a shade that declared unapologetic performance. In other words, orange is the shade of the showgirl. And Taylor went all in. Social media turned into a sea of amber, with photo shoots drenched in fiery tones. The Empire State Building lit up orange in her honor. Kansas City's Union Station glowed the same way. Swifties dyed their nails, bought orange outfits, even painted fan art in citrus shades. The symbolism spread like wildfire until orange didn't just belong to Taylor. It belonged to an entire fandom, marking the beginning of something fresh, something theatrical, something alive. Now let's talk music. Because beyond the spectacle, beyond the colors and countdowns, what fans really crave is the sound. The Life of a Showgirl was written during the European stretch of her era's tour in 2024. And here's where longtime Swifties perked up. Taylor reunited with Max Martin and Shellback, the Swedish masterminds behind some of her greatest pop anthems. Think Shake It Off, Blank Space style. It had been since 2017's Reputation that she had worked with them. The reunion felt almost symbolic, a return to pop's glittering heights, but with a wiser, more battle-tested Taylor at the helm. She made it clear there would be no filler. 12 tracks, each carefully chosen, each one necessary to complete the puzzle. Fans immediately noticed the track title she revealed, The Fate of Ophelia, hinting at Shakespearean tragedy. Elizabeth Taylor, a glamorous homage to the Hollywood icon who lived her life in the blinding glare of fame. And of course, the title track, The Life of a Showgirl, featuring none other than Sabrina Carpenter, her tour opener and friend. Just from the names alone, fans could tell this wasn't an album about quiet introspection. This was an album about grandeur, about spectacle, about life lived in the spotlight. If that wasn't enough to fuel anticipation, Taylor's inner circle began speaking out. Enter Zoë Kravitz. On August 17th, in an interview with Extra, Zoë revealed she had already heard parts of the album. Her verdict was blunt but powerful, fantastic. And then came the phrase that sent fans into orbit. She called it a no-skips album. For those unfamiliar, that's not casual praise. It means every track is so strong, you wouldn't dream of skipping a single one. In an industry where even superstar albums often have highs and lows, calling something no skips is a declaration of complete excellence. And when it comes from Zoë Kravitz, it means something. Taylor and Zoe's friendship goes back years, rooted in trust and warmth. Zoë once told a story about visiting Taylor's house during the California wildfires, when her mother's pet snake briefly went missing in the chaos. That kind of memory isn't casual. It's the kind of bond where you've lived through chaos together and come out stronger. Zoë has also spoken about how Taylor, despite her massive fame, remains grounded, grabbing burgers and wine after stadium shows instead of vanishing into some untouchable celebrity bubble. So when Zoë calls the album flawless, it lands differently. It feels intimate, like a seal of approval from family. But perhaps what fascinates fans most about this era is the love story woven into its very DNA. Taylor and Travis Kelce aren't just a couple in the tabloids. They are, in many ways, the heartbeat of this era. Taylor herself admitted on the podcast how it all began, with Travis trying to give her a friendship bracelet at her Kansas City show in July 2023, complete with his phone number on it. She described it as a wild, romantic gesture, like something ripped from an 80s rom-com. What started as a sweet moment of courage became the opening chapter of a very public love story. 2 years later, here she was, announcing her 12th album on his podcast. The symmetry was undeniable. This wasn't just a publicity stunt. It was personal. It was art and life merging together in real time. Taylor didn't just choose the podcast as a convenient platform. She chose it because it represents the relationship that has changed her life. And in doing so, she elevated the announcement into a symbol of partnership and trust. But the podcast episode went beyond the reveal. Taylor opened up about deeply personal aspects of her life. She spoke about the long, grueling fight to reclaim ownership of her master recordings, describing how her mother and brother supported her through that battle. She acknowledged the physical toll the record-breaking Eras tour had taken on her. And then she charmed fans with her quieter joys, baking sourdough bread, dabbling in needlework, embracing the calm after the storm of global touring. It was a portrait of a woman who has seen both the extremes of superstardom and the peace of simple domestic life. And then came a moment that sent social media into a frenzy. Jason Kelce asked her about her famous lucky number 13. Taylor's response was simple but devastatingly sweet. She said, "It says that we're family." In that instant, a football legend, a pop icon, and millions of fans were united in a single heartfelt sentence. It trended worldwide within minutes, cementing itself as one of those moments fans will replay for years to come. So why does The Life of a Showgirl feel different from all the albums that came before it? First, it's in the presentation. This is the first time Taylor has so seamlessly blended her romantic life with her professional art. 4 years, she kept her relationships close to the chest, hinting through lyrics but rarely through her public actions. By making this announcement with Travis at her side, of course, with any new Taylor Swift era, fans immediately begin speculating about what's next. Will there be another massive tour? What does the track Elizabeth Taylor really mean? Is Sabrina Carpenter's feature a symbolic passing of a torch to the next generation, or simply a joyful duet between two friends? And then there are the Easter eggs. Every shade of orange, every lyric teaser, every subtle move is dissected for meaning. Swifts know by now that nothing Taylor does is by accident, and puzzle solving is part of the fun. What's certain is that Taylor Swift doesn't move halfway. If this is the beginning of the Showgirl era, then the next year of pop culture will be a stage drenched in sequins, orange lights, and dramatic storytelling. It's not just an album cycle. It's a cultural event in progress. So here we are, at the dawn of a new Taylor Swift chapter. From the podcast reveal that shattered records, to Zoë Kravitz's no skips praise, to the symbolism of orange flooding our timelines, to the love story at its heart, the life of a showgirl is already more than music. It's a narrative. It's an identity. Its performance is life itself. And as history has shown us, when Taylor Swift begins a new era, the entire world pays attention. The only question left is, are you ready for the show? Now I want to hear from you. Do you think Zoe's right? Will this be a no-skips album? Which track are you most excited to hear first? And what do you think the orange aesthetic really symbolizes? Drop your thoughts in the comments, because I know the theories are going to be wild. If you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that like button, subscribe for more entertainment breakdowns, and share this with your fellow Swifts. We are just at the beginning of this journey. Until next time, stay curious, stay excited, and get ready for Taylor's next spectacular act.